Well, hello, everyone. Jana here with you guys, and we have a super special guest today, none other than Justin Nelson from Sphere Rocket. We're excited to introduce everyone to him and let you guys know what the difference he's made within our company and how he can help you guys as well. So, welcome, Justin. How are you today?
I am fantastic. Thank you for having me on. I am super excited for the 13th personally, so can't wait to be out in Dallas.
Yes, it's going to be a great event. Every year, we just get people together that are like-minded, most of them business owners, and it's just going to be great to, in this real estate world, with all that's changing. I know you have your thumb on it as well. It's just going to be good to see what we can do to grow our businesses in new and relevant ways, which brings up your company. So why don't you introduce yourself? Let us know about Sphere Rocket, and then we're going to get into some good deep dive conversation.
Absolutely. So obviously, like you said, we're Sphere Rocket VA. We are a virtual assistant-based company that has its roots kind of rooted in real estate and all the different industries, whether it be staging, title, real estate agents, mortgage, all of those different things. We kind of rooted in that because my background is in real estate. I've been in real estate since I was almost 15 years old. Started off as like a inside sales agent, cold caller, and then just kind of took every other position in the industry prior to starting Sphere Rocket. So we started Sphere Rocket in late 2019, right prior to COVID. Even though I had been using VAs myself for quite a few years, I finally had enough people going, hey, tell us your secret. Why are you not going through the big companies? Like, why are you doing this all yourself? And so started in 2019 and, come back now. It's almost into 2021 and we're up to almost 1,600 virtual assistants across the real estate industry. And I know got a few with you yourself.
That is unbelievable. I love your story. Starting out grassroots, like, okay, ISA, the hardest, I believe, like insight, like we are scheduling appointments, people that probably don't know us. We're sending our agents out, and that really threw you in, no doubt about it, because I know that world. And now you saw a pain point, you saw a problem, and also as the world gets smaller, you're thinking, okay, well, how do we take this from just typical brick and mortar into why not? Why could we not have virtual assistants? And then not only that, but specializing in real estate. And in the real estate, I would call it the playground. So we've introduced you to our staging businesses, but we wanted to at least know what it felt like for you guys to step in, because we know we can have projects done here and there. But now to have a VA and commit to that VA, you guys really take it a step further. So walk us through the process of what you guys go through behind the scenes to make sure you have competent people that can help companies like ours.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the first things that we really focus on is making sure our team knows the real estate industry in and out. So most of my recruiters, most of my management staff have all worked for me in my real estate business before. One of the key foundations that I found when I was an agent getting virtual assistants is I always did one of two things. I either, number one, went to like Upwork or Craigslist and tried to just find the one-time project, which I think that for many people that still is a better route to go if they only have projects and they don't want to commit to someone full-time. However, you don't ever get that full company buy-in. You don't get that long-term buy-in, hey, I'm working an extra 2 hours tonight because I love our company, I see the end goal. And so for us, we really make sure that first off, our staff is really well versed in real estate from my experience. And then from there, we really pride ourselves on how many applications we can get in a month, which might sound a little crazy, but last month we had 107,000 applications apply to work for Sphere Rocket in the Philippines. And a lot of that is based on good culture, making sure the VAs are taken care of. And some people listening might go, well, Justin, why does that matter? Well, we place between about 100 and 200 VAs a month with United States-based clients. And, if I were to say, hey, Sphere Rocket only gets 500 applications a month, and we place 200 of them, you obviously see the ratio of like, well, there wasn't much screening done. Did you really get the top 1% of the talent pool? But when we have the opportunity to go through 107,000 resumes in a month and then only give out 100 to 200 VAs, we're obviously finding that, the top 1%. And so we pride ourselves on the recruitment method of all our VAs are going through a first round interview, the typical pre-screening like you do in the US, resumes, grammar, all of those things. And then we're going to take it a step further to go, let's test your internet speed. Let's test your typing speed. Let's look at reference checks. And, so most of the VAs are going through 10 to 12, what we call disqualification rounds before they even get a chance to speak with you. And, a lot of VA companies out there, are, they're great companies, but they might not go as in depth as far as that goes. Then from there, where we kind of differentiate ourselves is most of our team speaks fluent real estate, kind of like you said, the real estate playground. We find that a lot of VA companies out there are just generalized because, they may be having a VA go help this plumber or electrician, which is fine. But we just decided to really go deep within our niche of real estate. So that way, if you call into a support center, you need some help from me, or you need help from one of our team members, they know what you're speaking. If you ask, how can I get my VA to do marketing in this? Or how do I get my VA to do lead generation? You're speaking to someone that actually knows the same lingo that you're speaking, which just makes that process of hiring someone that much easier when you're bringing on a VA.
Well, I have been looking so forward to this, of officially introducing you to our network, our industry, because it is a pain point. I mean, like a lot of realtors who are business owners, right? Even if they're within a team, I mean, they are that independent contractor, they're starting up, and it is up to us to really create a team that can help support that visionary. And now this becomes the ones that are integrating, they're implementing. And now let's segment into, home staging. When it comes to us as a support of that realtor out there, we need the same help. We need the same support as we're growing, and we teach that business model. And I know, Justin, you're part of incredible masterminds. You actually host masterminds when it comes to growing business owners. And one of the pitfalls is we stay busy doing the $10 an hour work, the $15, right? We don't stay at that high level and start deploying out and growing that team. So what an incredible way for someone to move from that solo entrepreneur to now at that team concept. So what kind of skill sets do these typical VAs? We know our amazing, we have 3, by the way, absolutely love. We talked to Barbara, who is one of our leadership. She already has 2, and they are literally helping run the team, like boots on the ground. So what are typical needs, and what are some typical skill sets that these VAs have?
Yeah, so we always say that the skill sets are relatively straightforward. It's whatever skill sets you need them to have. And so, the biggest mistake most people come and make in the VA world is they come and go, I need a real estate VA that can do everything, right? And in their mind, they think the VA can be a lead generator, a cold caller, a social media graphic designer, a video editor. And that's usually the biggest mistake. And so when we have 107,000 applications in a month, our job is to first off, not just give you a website link to sign up and then just give you someone that kind of fits that criteria. We're going to go, hey, what do you need, right? And so if someone needs help on marketing, we're going to go and make sure that out of those 107,000 applications, we're going to go find someone that has a background in marketing or has transferable skill sets depending on, the rate of pay and things like that. And so, I always tell people, when it comes to the VA world, you can find anything, right? You can find the cold callers, you can find the video editors, you can find the transaction coordinators, all those different things, or just general executive admins, especially in a little bit more non-real estate agent businesses, like home staging, different things like that. And so the key is to understand what you need and not expect that person to do it all. But once you figure out what that main crux point in your business is, because what I've always been told is your business is only usually one problem away from a breakthrough, right? It's not that you need to fix your marketing and your lead generation and your customer service. Usually at any given time in any business, there's only one thing that is your blockage. And so for us, that's our job, is to identify that. And then once we identify that, the skill sets are endless, right? So whether it's a hard way to explain what they come with, because we can really find any skill set you need as long as generally what that blockage is in your business. And if you don't, because our team speaks real estate, we can usually find it for you. Yes. Throw us a few numbers, throw us a few, where are you getting stuck? And, we can kind of help you identify that.
I love it. I love that you also, it's the ongoing training. It's that continuing education that you guys provide. Weekly training. I mean, you literally have weekly training for business owners, for, the VAs that are there that are such a part of our team. And we tell them, I mean, we absolutely adore the VAs that are working with us. And, would a step be, well, maybe if you need a couple of different skill sets, you could have a couple of part-timers that are honed in to the specifics of what you need.
Oh, absolutely. And, and one thing I think people in your audience will learn about us over the long term, if they haven't already, is we're a no upcharge model, which I'm sure we'll get more into in later talks and things like that. But because we don't take any upcharge on the VA each and every month, it allows you to have 2, 3, 4 VAs at the same price that most companies will charge you for one VA, which kind of gives you a little bit more freedom, a little bit more flexibility. And, I know that you know this with having 2 or 3, you have a little bit more coverage, right? If one VA were to wake up tomorrow and say, I quit, it's not like your business just all of a sudden loses their top assistant that did everything, right? You kind of have some of that cross learning. And so for us, that's a massive piece of it as well on what you just said of different skill sets, different people, having part-timers. Like with our model, you can really make sure you have professionals, specializing in each of their same things for the same cost.
Yes. And it's so good. And I know that is probably the first question. And of course, if you guys have questions, reach out to us, getting into, the mechanics of this and maybe how it starts the flow of it, right? But you have chosen that model, Justin, of, hey, we're going to do all the headhunting. We're going to do all the behind the scenes work. And then we just need you to come in and we're going to interview with you. Like we've already done the pre-screening. And I love that you said disqualification. Yeah. Right. That is so cool. And you are finding the 1%ers that then you present to us. And I know we've sat through several interviews. We segment a certain time. You may have 3 or 4 candidates. And we're allowed to ask questions, and then we can make decisions, and we can even set the pay. They may have, which, by the way, we won't give any major details, but you may be able to have 4 or 5 VAs for the price of a typical person in your office that is doing, that you might be just like, hey, I can take this online. Why could this not be a job that someone could do across the country? They speak well. They're so polite. And, based hiring on still your core values as a company. So give a little insight on how that works kind of from a business owner getting onboarded into this new world of VAs.
Yeah, absolutely. So the number one problem that I had, because this company was really designed on problems I had when getting virtual assistants, was you'd sign up for the virtual assistant company and they would, maybe give you 2 people and you would pick one. You didn't really get more than like a 30-second interview with them. And it was kind of like just a trust me, in which while they were great candidates, many of the times, what I found the problem is a lot of the times they had great skills, but I just didn't jive with them, on a, friend basis, a cultural basis, a, energy basis, whatever you want to call it, right? Those gut instincts that when we have these candidates, we get to go, man, I just really like you as a person and you have the same skill sets as that person. Nothing against the other person. I just really jive with you, right? Which is something we instinctually look for in interviews. And so what we've done differently is we want to bring you 5 to 6 to 7 candidates on a final interview. That's, where you get to come on. One of our leaders will lead the interview, right? We'll ask some questions, we'll probe some things, but then more importantly go, hey, thank you for trusting us. We don't think that you can go wrong with any of these 5 to 7 candidates. However, you know your business the best, right? You know the type of energy. Like I know for like your guys' team, you and Lori and some of them, you guys have high energy. Like if you were to bring in someone that couldn't handle energy, it's just not going to work, right? And so we find those things on final interviews because some people will stand out, some people won't. And so that's a huge part of our process. The other cool thing about our process is if you get on there with 5 to 7 candidates and you're like, Justin, they're all great, they all beat the qualifications, I'm just not jiving with any of them. Awesome. You just let us know that and we'll go, cool, go back to your daily work. Don't worry about doing a thing. We'll be back in 5-6 days and we're going to bring you another set of interviews, right? Doesn't cost you any extra time to make sure that you're making that right hire, where a lot of companies go, well, these are the only 3 people you get to choose from. it is what it is, right? You signed a contract, go with it, right? And for us, we know that if we make you happy, that you have the best person on your team, you're going to want that second, that third, that fourth VA, in more of a long-term relationship rather than, just going, yes, we got someone to sign a contract. Here's a person.
I love it. And, we go back to Mike Reese, Jay Kinder, NAEA, Holly and John Kitchens. And we've been in that world for almost 20 years, 15 probably, when we've been sitting in rooms and masterminding. And so for you to be such a qualified referral to us, we automatically knew this is a winning company. They're doing it right. They're trusted, right? They're a trusted partner. And so that's what we're doing at HSRA. We feel like this has been one of the absolute best decisions that we made in 2021, partnering with you guys, and you guys being such a game changer. It really is a game changer for small businesses, large businesses, it doesn't matter. But for those that are just starting out or having a little bit of that heartburn with, the typical people that we try to onboard, we give them an opportunity. I'm not saying everyone, but the people that we work with have such a heart to help. And that is just a testimony to you guys in the pre-qualifying and disqualifying so that you bring us talent and quality. And I love that.
Absolutely. And I think that's kind of the cool thing too. You say some people have such big hearts, and sometimes that's also the detriment of hiring, right? They give people too many chances and, different things like that. And I think that's where we play a critical role too. We're here to help counsel you, guide you, give you advice, because we've seen 1,200 plus agents in the last 2 years use our services. We know when the VA isn't just jiving with you. We know when the problem actually might be you, right? Yes. We know when the problem might just be the VA. And so we kind of serve as, a kind of a good cop, bad cop, for a lack of better terms, is if you can go, hey, just don't know this is working out. I'm gonna be the first person. If I don't think your VA is working out for you personality wise or skill wise, I'm gonna be the first person that's gonna embrace it and go, cool, let's get you a replacement, no extra cost, no anything. Let's get that right person in there, because we're more worried about having the right person in your seat than, anything else, even if that means, because I'd be lying to say every placement we gave was just a rock star, right? Because that'd be saying that we figured out HR, people, right? But we're about 93% of employers keep their first VA for the entire time. But that 7%, we embrace that. And what's cool is, like you said, is a lot of times we go through these processes, we spend $48,000-$50,000 on a US based employee, they work for us for 4 months, we train them, and they leave.
Yes.
And then you're like, what? I don't want to do that again. I feel burned. I feel tired because I'm running my business training you. And then that's where a lot of agents just quit. A lot of business owners just quit, and then they never get to experience the true joy of having the right leverage in their life.
Well, and you think about all of the opportunities now that we're tapping into as far as our companies go, and even short-term rental. Now you're looking at, our VAs being able to help book, communicate. It's just another level of some of the services that we offer. So I was literally shocked, just being open and real, that Barbara was using her amazing 2 VAs that are running teams, running the scheduling, running operations, making sure, keeping her boots on the ground team accountable. Because usually we think of that VA as the admin, the busy work, some of the things, the check off the list kind of thing. But they can be your leaders as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, I personally have 2 VAs in senior leadership in the Philippines that each run different divisions where they manage 600 people apiece. And so it's definitely possible. I have 2 VAs here that manage, my team of VAs of 50 to 60. And so, and these are all people that you would never imagine would be able to run those teams for you. And I think you said something that kind of struck me there, is a lot of agents in real estate and different playgrounds, especially home staging, it goes into the Airbnb business, the short term, all those different things. Is a lot of us have little side hustles or just complete full different businesses that we're all involved in. I have 5 to 6 different companies, and they're all VA ran from top to bottom, and most would never even realize that they're not US based ran.
I love that. Well, sky is the limit, total game changer. And I just want to officially thank you from the bottom of our hearts for our industry in particular, because I know that you guys have already helped and are helping and will continue to help small business owners be able to reach their dreams and those goals, and not be less frustrated, right? Be less stressed. And it is, it's whether it was, the pandemic that forced us into this being a more viable option, whatever it was, I'm just so glad that we found you guys. And thank you so much. Can't wait to see you at Summit. Do you have like one give for those business owners out there? Maybe a struggle or an opportunity that, you see that a word of wisdom that could help them?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that one of my mentors taught me back in the day was two things, and I'll keep it really short. Number one is he told me, hey, look at opening a restaurant, right? Act like you're about to open a restaurant. When you open a restaurant, what do you have to do? You got to hire the kitchen staff, the front of house staff, the back of house staff, and all these different things. Then he's like, look at the profit margins of a restaurant. And I looked all this up and I was like, wow, they only make like 5% margins. So he's like, so why do you think, as a real estate agent, as a short-term investor, as a home stager, any of these things, he's like, why do you think with bigger margins that you shouldn't have staff? Like, why has our industry been taught that? And so that was the biggest aha for me, as I looked at all these people that started really good businesses and they had to all this risk, all these people, all this leverage. And then I look at my business and I went, I'm by myself. What's going on here? And so that was number one, was that realization. And number two is he said, this is a big kicker for me, was write your goal income, your goal income on the board. And, for many of us, it may be in the millions, some of us, it may be 50,000, some of it may be 100,000, whatever that number is. But for me at that time, when I was 19 years old, it was 100,000 and I had just hit it. And I figured out, I didn't realize that $100,000 working 40 hours a week was actually about $50 an hour. I never computed that in my head. And so what he started to say is, everything that's less than $50 an hour, you should need to outsource.
That's good.
And in my mind, I was thinking, well, I know I need to outsource like the $8 an hour work, but I never thought about the $30 an hour work. And so for many of us, we have goals of $1 million. Well, that's $500 an hour.
Yes.
And yet we're still running to go grab a lockbox or a sign, or, we're personally delivering the couch to the listing, to stage it. Like, those are all the things that we gotta really start to write down. And so my biggest nugget is write your goal income, write what that is per hour. If you want to work 80 hours a week, write it down.
I'm going to show you, this was my morning.
Love it. I love it. You got to write it down. You got to figure the hourly. And I'm not saying you can just all of a sudden turn everything over that's under your hourly, but there's going to be a lot of things that you start to laugh at that you're going to be like, why did
I do that for so long? Why did I think I had to be the end all be all, right? And that is the Achilles heel of the small business owner, no doubt.
It is 100%.
Well, thank you, Justin, for your time. I can't wait. I am literally purposing in 2022 to spend more time in the room with you, masterminding, building empires together. I know that you are a big missing link and the big solution for our industry in particular, as we are in the stager sandbox of the real estate playground. And we've got a lot of people to introduce you to as well. And I can't wait. So see you at Summit. Thank you again. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
You as well. Thank you.
All right.